So this is just a little helpful hint for problem number 10 on page 154. So if you look at this problem, there are two things that we're graphing. The first thing we're graphing for number 10 is we're graphing the cost to actually make and market the yearbook. Okay, so there's an expense to this, cost or expense, I'll call it. And then we're graphing the profit, the money made. Okay, and if we can take both of those expenses and profit, and we can write it into an equation. And we know that the yearbooks are being sold for, it says, $16 a piece. So for every yearbook sold, they get $16. So X is going to equal the number of yearbooks sold, or the number of yearbooks, we'll just put, okay? The cost or the expense, it costs $8 to make every yearbook, so that's where we get the 8X. And then there's also a $24 expense for, what did it say, for advertising. So then from here on out, we can graph those two equations. And I think you might want a fairly large graph when you do this. When I was looking at the numbers, it hit me that, you know what, these are all multiples of 4. So it would kind of make sense when we're graphing up here is if we count by 4s going up. So if I make all these, it starts at 0, just make this 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on, okay, as we go up. 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, okay? And we just can kind of keep going there. Each of these lines down here would be how many yearbooks are sold. And it looks like, you know, we can count by, I don't know, 2s or something like that if you want. And that'll kind of depend on where we think the profits will go and where, you know, how far we'll be with that. So I'm just going to peek here for just a minute and get an idea. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just count by 1s down here for the number of yearbooks sold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to label this. So this is the amount of money we're talking about. This is the number of yearbooks. And then when I'm graphing this, remember you have an x and you have a y equals an x plus b equation here. So if you need me to, you could write a plus 0 here. So that means you would start at the 0. And then our rate of change is $16, 16 over 1, which is $16 for every 1 yearbook. So we're going to go up 16 for every 1. I have to go up another 16 and over 1 for the next one. So my graph is going to look like this as I'm going up, okay? You can graph the points. Here's my y-intercept, 0, and my rate of change is up 16 over 1. It's 16 over 1. I can do the same thing down here for my cost and expense, and make sure you mark which graph is what. When I do my cost and expense, right, I have $24 is where I start, okay? That's an automatic, that's my y-intercept right here. And then my rate of change is up 8 over 1. So for every yearbook I spend, okay, up 8 over 1. And at some point here you are going to see these two graphs cross, and you have to just take a look at, well, how many yearbooks do I need to sell before I actually start to make more money than I'm spending? And you'll see that in your graph.